Hey, y'all. My name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. We just got done with a killer episode.
We did. We had our good buddy, Derek Richardson, on the episode.
Man, it was a fun time. He was our first stepdad guest, and so we got to kind of pick his brain a little bit about stepdadding and all the different things that go into that. And
because me and you have no idea what goes into
exactly,
that.
and that was completely new to our side of things, so we're excited about it. We drank a couple of coffees, didn't have any fun at all.
Zero fun.
I'm joking. That was a freaking blast. That was awesome. That was a good episode. So without further ado,
let's do it.
Let's get right into it. Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he is the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Doing great, man. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Got it.
You know, it's a good day for a good day, boys.
It is a good day.
Got our hoppy coffee in hand.
Cheers.
And we got a great guest today, you know?
Yeah, we do.
Maybe he might have the best name out of all of our guests that we've had so far, now that I think about it.
I knew this was coming. This was coming.
Yeah.
Could be.
So we have Derek Richardson as our guest today. So we are excited to have you on here, Derek.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. We always start with the dad resume. So tell us, how many kids you got. Which one's your favorite? You know, what you do. You know, just kind of go from there.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Derek Richardson. I am a dad of 3.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So we've got 18-year-old Reese, stepson, 15-year-old stepdaughter Aurora, here on referred to as Rory.
Yes.
And
Rory.
then
I like that.
10-year-old daughter Kennedy.
My favorite kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Bryant has a favorite.
I'll just tell you right now.
I'm not allowed to say.
Kennedy of all of my friends' kids, Kennedy is my favorite. So
I was going to say Rory's going to watch this. So
Yeah.
you're gonna
Rory, I like you too, sweetheart.
Close second. Close second there, Rory.
I love it. Yeah, and you're also in the insurance industry, so you're like one of my buddies too. So we love having that. Yeah. We met. We've known each other for almost a decade between the three of us. I mean, it's getting to that point. Like, it was 2013, 14-ish when we all joined Rotaract.
Yeah.
So we're getting dangerously close to a decade. We're all, you pointed it out, or you pointed out. Who pointed out the President's Club comment?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah,
that was good.
3 former presidents here of
a lot of
our
brain
club.
power here.
Right.
Well, some
a lot of formal
less
authority.
institutional knowledge, or forgetting
just past
institutional
election
knowledge.
season. So I feel like that's right in there.
But 3 presidents of Springfield Club Rotaract here, and so that's kind of fun. But that's how we kind of cut our teeth in the community, and also just like building friendships. Like, it was just in that room, drinking beer and doing community service, which probably in that order. Beer and then community service.
Yeah, you're more willing to do it after you've had a couple beers.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we, have a handful of things that we do with every episode, and first and foremost, we got to talk about Tantrum of the Week.
Oh, God.
Because even if you got an 18-year-old, you're still dealing with tantrums.
No.
I'm excited to hear your Tantrum of the Week, Derek,
what do you got? What's your Tantrum of the Week? Did you think about this ahead of time?
Well, yeah, but
because you're an avid watcher of the podcast, I know.
I am. Absolutely. I've heard every episode, and I'm here to tell you boys that it doesn't get any better.
Don't tell me that.
There's no Tantrum of the Week. It's Tantrum of the day. There's
Tantrum of forever. ever.
Yeah. No, so no. What I was thinking about the story to tell for this one, my daughter.
I like it when we get prepped. That's good.
No, she's absolutely amazing. For a 10-year-old, not supposed to hit the table.
You're fine.
I
told you it happens every time. Don't worry about it.
For a 10-year-old, she's got her game on. She gets ready in the morning all by herself. Very little.
That's so cool.
No, I'm serious.
That's so cool.
Amanda went to Nashville a few weeks ago for work.
Yeah,
so I got to do the whole dad thing from beginning to end.
Dad of 3.
Oh God,
good for you.
Make you realize how much you love and appreciate your wife. But that little girl, man, she'll get up. She has to leave the house about 6:50. So I set my alarm clock at 6:40. I'm not kidding you. Throw on the hoodie, walk out the door. She's standing there with her backpack ready to go. I mean, she is good to go.
Telling you, man, she's my favorite kid. That's just so I'm so jealous.
Wait, just wait. It gets better. So I mean, it's pretty common for her. She gets home from school, she takes off and goes play with friends.
Sure,
absolutely love it. She's having her she's doing her thing, right? So one day we were making dinner, had the nice spread on the table, buffet style, having tacos.
Oh, yeah.
She gets home. She's like, Dad, can you help me make dinner? Like, what do you mean help you make dinner? I'm sitting here watching TV, long day at work. I don't want to get up, right? She goes, I can't make it myself. I'm like, dude, you make your lunch every single day by yourself.
Does she really?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh,
no, there's no intervention at all. And now she needs me to get up and help her make her dinner, right?
Sure.
And this was a knockout, drag out fight to where she's like, well, fine. I guess I'm going to bed hungry tonight.
Wow. She pulled that card.
Oh yeah. I'm like, sorry, kid. There's breakfast in the morning, I guess. So, the choose your battle.
Yeah, sure.
Win the war kind of thing.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, wait, so is she in like the going to the neighborhood bike ride phase, like jumping on her bikes and driving over to our friend's house?
No, there's like a posse of them.
I love it. That's my favorite thing. I miss that so much.
I was just thinking of like such a dad comment whenever she said, well, I'll just go to bed hungry. I'd be like, well, nobody ever starved in a day. So there you go.
That's absolutely.
So he's full of dad lines like that. It's not so much dad jokes as it is just retorts. Yeah. It's just like one-liner retorts.
I'm full of those replies. So don't try me, child. Right?
Oh, the I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Nice to meet you. I'm dad.
Yeah. We do that all the time.
Those.
Right.
He's got 1,000 of them. What about yours? What do you have?
Yeah. So my tantrum. Well, so we went on family vacay a couple weeks ago. Right. Week-long vacay. Well, last week, Liam had to go back to daycare or school, whatever we call it. And, obviously he had the week off the day before. And so we're asking him at the breakfast table, like, hey, you excited to go to school and all this stuff? And he, no. And I'm like, you excited to see your friends? No. You excited to play? No.
Excited about anything?
Anything? Yeah, right? No. Okay, well, this is going to be a fun trip to school today. So I always take him the first day that he goes to school. So we're driving to school, and he's like, Dad, where are the cars going? Where's the trucks going? I'm like, oh, I bet they're going to school. I'm thinking, this is such a smart dad move, right? They're going to school. He's like, oh, cool. Is that truck going to school? I'm like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I got this. He's going to be so excited to go to school. Pull into the parking lot.
Oh, no.
Get him out of his car seat, put him on the ground. Normally, we run across the parking lot to the front doors there. Well, as soon as I put him on the ground, he takes about 3 steps, sees those front doors of the school, and he's like, nope, and just starts walking backwards.
Does he really?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, no.
I do that same thing when I get to work.
It's like, no, let me backpedal. So I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. So I pick him up instead of just trying to fight the battle, and he's just like, no, I don't want to go to school. He's crying, like, and we're not even in the building yet. And it's like, go through the front door. You got to scan your badge. So I'm trying to scan my badge while my kid's losing it and open up a door, and it's pretty fun. Well, then his classroom is upstairs, so then we have to go up a flight of stairs, and he's just telling me like, no, I don't want to go. And I'm like, oh gosh. Finally, we get to his classroom. And he just latches onto me, hands around me. He's like, don't want to go. I just want to play. And I'm like, dude, me too. Okay. I'm right there with you. I don't want to go to work. I just want to play. Yep. Okay.
For the record, still can't play it on my age.
This is a life lesson that you're learning at 2. okay. But yeah, and then I just had to hand him off to the teacher as he's losing it, and I'm like, he's your problem now.
Oh, God, that's so hard.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
I remember those days.
Luckily, our daycare has cameras, and I flipped it on like 5 minutes later, and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's playing with his friends, so yeah, he's just being a little diva. Yeah. What about you, Brian?
Well,
what do you got?
Elsie has been sick again.
I feel like every episode she's sick.
It's all we talk about. I swear to God, the daycare crud is real. I mean, she went. So we get back from Thanksgiving. I'm giving away dates a little bit here, but whatever. She gets back from Thanksgiving. She goes to daycare on Monday. Monday night, she pops a fever. Tuesday morning, she's like 103.
Ooh,
whoa, that's high.
102.5, but whatever. I'm rounding. Not high enough to like hit the alarm bell buttons, but like
pretty darn close.
One of those deals where it's like, we're not going to daycare because you're going to get everybody else sick. But she went to daycare for one day and got sick. So frickin' daycare crud is real in our house. But we have discovered through Elsie being home most of the week and Liv and I like trading off. I worked from home one day, which means I got exactly dick 50 done. Like, you know how that is. I can't get anything done working from home. I'm in a sales job. I'm trying to be on the phone.
With a sick kid.
With a sick kid. It's impossible. Like, it's I can send emails, and that is as far as I can get from my phone with Elsie because she was so clingy, so needy. Like, that's Elsie when she's sick. She's got to be all up on you. However, she has become my least favorite daughter this week because everything has become mommy.
Oh,
she will look at me and go, "Mommy."
Elsie has a favorite.
Oh, dude, I am absolutely playing. I am in third place in this household. It goes Elsie, mommy, dad. Like maybe dogs and then dad. Maybe I'm below the dogs.
Called a tie.
Yeah, no kidding. Like me and the dogs that live outside most of the day are tied at this point. But like it's mommy has stopped meaning my wife. Mommy has started meaning everything that is comfort. Mommy, pick me up. Mommy, I want to snuggle. Mommy, where's my blanket? Like all of these things. So that's our tantrum is that it's mommy only. And I have received the ultimate slight from my daughter. I am no longer dad. It's mommy, mama. I love her to death, but that little shit.
Well, I don't want to make you feel better, but I feel like mommy is a comfort spot for whenever kids are sick.
And I don't disagree with your assessment.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm 34, and I'm kind of with that thought process even still. So.
Well, my oldest, Liam, he is very much a daddy's boy. I'll admit that. Allie will admit that any day of the week. But when he is sick, he wants his mom. That's just how it is. So
yeah, I got the ultimate slight though. She looked me dead in the face and goes, "Mommy." And he's like, "All right, fine."
In my
you
house,
little monster.
When a kid says "mommy," they're usually telling on me. Mommy, Dad did.
Guess what Dad did said.
You weren't supposed to tell that.
Exactly. Well, speaking of getting told on and family and the dynamics and everything, you are our first stepdad. You referenced it a little bit earlier. Well, it's just one of those things, and there's different kinds of dads out there, and you were one of the many kinds.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure and talk about it, both with you just kind of being our first stepdad, and we wanted to pick your brain about it a little bit, but also like tell us a little bit about your journey to fatherhood, because we've joked about our experiences at like the hospital and like going to that kind of stuff.
Real quick before you get to that, we skipped our second question.
What did I miss?
That we ask every one of our guests. And that
I did. I just completely jumped past the dad hack. I apologize. Excuse me.
The dad hack. Sorry.
That's on me.
Sorry, Brian's trying to make this episode all about him. That's okay.
Wow.
So, Derek,
good catch, DC.
I kind of wish we would have skipped this one because I don't know if I'm prepared for this.
Well, honestly, I'm kind of excited to hear your dad hack because like Brian just mentioned, you're a stepdad.
Yeah.
But then too, you have your kids are a little bit older than both of ours.
Yep. You do have the oldest kids of all of our guests thus far.
And so we ask everybody, what's a good dad hack that you want to share with everybody?
Dad hack, dad vice,
or dad vice. Yes.
Well, yeah, whatever. Dad
vice,
dad hack, whatever you got, like anything.
I think that kind of ties to the whole step parenthood, right? So I many years ago,
passed it.
What?
I said good catch. I went right past it.
Was there a dad joke?
No,
Did I miss the dad joke?
No, that I jumped.
Okay,
I jumped ahead in our roster.
I didn't want to pull a Derek Bryant and miss a dad joke. Well,
That's fair.
He called us out.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we have definitely, unfortunately, missed several.
No. I mean, I think the whole dad hack is tied to the step parenthood. So, Amanda and I started dating. She was a single mom of 2. And it was kind of awesome because you get used to having kids around, and I was an uncle, loved kids, but then you're with kids all the time.
Sure, it's a whole different deal.
Right,
sure.
Right. But it was great because they would go to their dad's house every other weekend. So every other weekend you could be like, hey, let's have a night on the town, and so like my dad hack is taking the time for you and your wife, and
there you go.
We talked about in other episodes, making time for yourself and doing what you love, just to kind of have that escape. I think it's also important to have that time for you and your wife to be a couple and do that thing.
Yeah,
and then we screwed it all up by having a kid, right? So like every other weekend. Dang it didn't work out too.
What were we thinking?
Yeah. But that's good. Make some time for not just make some time for yourself, but make some time for your spouse.
Yeah.
And time to be a couple. That's great.
It's so easy to overlook that too.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Whenever you're in the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
But
because it's one of those deals where you get so focused on taking care of the munchkin, and then at the end of the day, you sit down and just like, shit, I am wiped. But it's still recognizing that you take some time to be a couple.
Yeah.
Our pediatrician, excuse me, I don't still have a pediatrician. Elsie's pediatrician.
No, you're still a child. You definitely have a pediatrician.
Elsie's pediatrician gave us homework and has asked us about it every single time we go back. You two have to leave the kid with a babysitter and go to dinner.
Oh yeah,
and that's like
her.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, so our pediatrician made that a point in our first we went in. I don't know, like the first month or whatever when Elsie was born, and that was one of his main comments was go to dinner, get out of the dinner, movie, whatever it is, go on a date, get the hell out of the house.
Yeah.
And we went for her 18-month checkup on Friday, which was perfectly timed with her being sick. And he goes, "How's your homework going?" And and he didn't. I mean, like he didn't have to elaborate.
Yeah.
Because we immediately knew what he was talking about. It's great. We just got done doing this and that and the other, and so we have made a point to do that. But that's
you talk to those people and they're like, I'm going out. We haven't spent the night away from our kid in 4 years. It's like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Just do a little steak.
Well, I think it's good for you guys and it's good for the child as well too, right? Because they know what it's like to be away from mom and dad for a little bit. So I think it's definitely beneficial there.
100%. Yeah. What do you have?
Yeah. So as far as my dad hack, this is not a new or groundbreaking dad hack by any means. I think it's
that's fine. I think that's okay.
I think it's a pretty old dad hack, but I've been looking forward to implementing it for a long time. And so it is when the older child doesn't want to do something, telling them that the younger little brother wants to do it, so then they instantly want to do it, right?
That's good.
We finally hit
reverse
that
psychology,
stage.
baby.
Yeah, we finally hit that stage with the boys where Liam's like, I don't want to eat dinner. All right, well, I guess Brody's going to eat all your food then. Okay, I'm hungry then. I want to eat. I don't want to take a bath. Okay, I guess Brody gets to play in the bathtub all by himself with all the toys. Okay, I'll go take a bath. So yeah, like I said, nothing groundbreaking there, but finally I've been able to use that one.
Yeah, nothing like pitting your kids against each other. I love it.
Hey, they're best friends, so they'll be fine.
You're right, they are buddies.
But I'm pretty excited to use that one now. And I'm gonna milk that as long as I can. So
that's
until they have the complex. Like what?
Right?
You gonna do it? My favorite kid's gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. Competition, boys. Exactly. Right. Survival of the fittest. Figure it out, would you? Oh, that's so funny.
What about you, Bryant?
So our thing this week is, Elsie started climbing way more than she ever has as she has gotten better from not feeling well over the last week. And it culminated in her climbing onto the kitchen table yesterday. Like, chair, climbed up on the chair, and Liv was going, "Oh, look, how funny is that?" She climbed up in the chair, and we turned around for 2 seconds, and we looked back, and she's on the table.
Hanging on the chandelier.
Oh,
right,
shit. I mean, dangerously close to that, yeah. And so it was one of those deals where Liv freaked Liv was very unhappy, like, oh my God, we got so dangerous, we got to fix it. And where I was like, well, just watch her, make sure she's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can calmly walk over and go, hey, we don't belong on the table. We need to get off of the table. And I don't remember where I heard it, and it was probably somebody that I don't actually want to listen to, but I heard this one liner.
Somebody I wouldn't normally take advice from.
Exactly. But like, it was just this one liner that I heard that I really liked, is that like kids learn best when they're doing dangerous things carefully. Because at the end of the day, like when you're doing the jungle gym stuff and you're trying to reach up and you're being really careful, you got one hand here and you're trying to reach up to this other place and you're extending yourself a little bit. That's where you learn, because you're trying to learn your boundaries and you're trying to push those boundaries. And we're also experiencing the boundary pushing thing with Elsie, like when she's eating or when she will look you dead in the face after you've told her not to do something and then go walk over to do it again. And so she's pushing those boundaries like little kids do. But I liked the idea of like, yeah, she's on the table. That's not where we want her. But she's learning how to climb. She's learning how to like how her body reacts and how to use her body. She doesn't really like the stairs because I'm convinced she fell down the stairs at some point, but I just don't know about it. But like at some point she was not a big fan of the stairs, and so she may or may not have like went down like 2 stairs while I was sitting downstairs. We won't talk about that out loud though.
Hypothetically.
No, hypothetically she went down 2 stairs into the basement. It's carpeted down here, so she's okay. But yeah. And padded. However, for some reason, she didn't like the stairs for a while there, and I don't know why. This will be a tester to see whether or not my wife listens to the podcast. But
don't say anything.
But I do like it's one of those deals where, you know, helping her learn where her boundaries are, whether it's physically or within the rules or whatever it is. Just kind of, that was my thing, is it kind of don't be so... My thought was I'm trying not to be so scoop her up and hold her tight and not let her do anything because I want to protect her from the world. Let her learn. Let her do her thing.
That's funny. I was thinking back about, you know, the early days and things like that, and I'll never forget the day that we went to the zoo. And again, Reese was, God, he was 7 and Rory was 4 when we first got together, and going to the playground. And okay, so think about this for a second. Like, you go from like your kids and seeing Elsie climb on the table, and you take those baby steps yourself in fatherhood, and take all of that away and see those monkeys like swinging from.
There you go. I mean, that's
so
the perfect.
Paranoid, and Amanda's like, dude, calm down. Like their bones bend. You're fine. You know.
I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Big, like, awakening for me that like kids they can fall and be okay. So
we talked about that just before the podcast started. That it's like they are very sensitive little creatures, but also they're not like
they're
made
resilient
of sugar glass or something like that. Like they're not gonna break when they bump something. So that's perfect. Okay, so I hinted at it earlier, and then Derek reminded me that I'm bad at podcasting and got out of order on our agenda here. But we talked about it a little bit. You are our first stepdad. And I started to talk about, like, we have joked about our experiences at the hospital, and so that was our experience, our initial journey to fatherhood, whereas yours is different than that because you started out with a 7 and 4-year-old. 8 and 5. How old were they when you guys got together? 7 and 4. Yeah. So you started out with a 7 and 4-year-old, and we hinted at it a little bit earlier. But I kind of want to hear about your journey to fatherhood because it is technically different than some of the rest of us that we've had on.
So of course we've got Kennedy, right? And
But then you went through it with Ken as well. Yeah.
So I'm 35 years old, and I have now gone from infancy to adulthood at this point, with Reese being 18 now. So and I'm 35 years old. You know? So I just did it in a weird order, right? So
that is interesting. Yeah, that is kind of backwards, but I get it
a little bit. Yeah. So I'm working on my first book, and it'll be published in May probably.
We'll be sure and share it on here.
Totally kidding.
Yeah.
I think you should. I think you should.
I was excited to read it.
Me no right good. So the interesting story. I was literally sleeping on my brother's futon, and then I met this beautiful woman. gorgeous.
She's a saint.
Drop dead gorgeous woman. She's got 2 kids, you know, and so I literally went from sleeping on my brother's futon to being a father of 3 in a little less than a year. So just like complete 360 of what my priorities were, what
that escalated real quickly.
Yeah, why I got up in the morning, you know, things just completely changed. And then Bryant, you and I have had this conversation before. You really get to know who your friends are.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And frankly, my friend group has significantly changed since this whole process too. I mean, you know, going through this whole camaraderie, people with kids, you know, you've got this sense of similarity, I guess, if you could say it. And,
the dad badge is what
the dad badge.
Refer to
you can relate to it. Yeah, that's so much more relatable. Yeah, I totally get it.
But the complexities that come with stepfatherhood is different.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
I can imagine.
My wife and I talk about this. She's like, "Man, I couldn't be a step parent. I just couldn't." Right?
Yeah.
So it's
because you're a saint, Derek.
I'm just
Saint Derek.
I'm just a good guy.
So just we got 2
I was
Saint
like,
Dereks.
Man.
Wow. Have to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Arm wrestle.
Can I watch? I just want to watch.
Yeah.
I just want to watch. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah. So you've kind of hinted at, you know, and we've, like you've said, we've talked about this before, where how different it was with, you know, then it's out of order. It's not out of order because that makes it sound negative, but it's just different.
A different order.
Yeah, it's a different order. Thank you. Better way to say it. Can you talk about like introducing your own daughter into the household, having been a parent of older kids, and then all of a sudden you've got a baby in the house, and you have no experience with a baby except you've got experience with older kids, and like how ass backwards that is and how confusing I'm sure that had to have been.
And I'm in insurance. I see like the worst case scenarios in every
Yes, we do.
Have, right? So I am naturally paranoid, right? So that's interesting fact is you know, Amanda, it's kid number 3. For me, it's kid number 1. So you're like, oh my God, she's got the sniffles. We need to take her to the emergency room now.
Yeah, we got to go now.
And mom's going, dude, settle down.
Yeah.
Right? This is kid number 3. I don't even know its name at this point. No, I'm just kidding. She knows her name.
She wrote it on her back. It's like a jersey.
Exactly. But no, it's interesting, especially, you know, from my perspective, the 2 older kids, their dad is a very much an active dad, very much a part of their life. So for me, it wasn't, I'm trying to replace this really important role. So my father-in-law, he gave me a piece of advice that's kind of always stuck with me. And it wasn't his advice. He was talking to somebody, and somebody had told him something, and he passed it along to me. And he's like, you know, being a good stepdad is like being a cool uncle, right? Is you've got, you're not trying to replace dad, but you're very much an integral part of their upbringing, right?
That's great advice.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I don't know how well I have implemented that in the kid's life, right? Because you're still running a household. You know, you've still got rules, you've still got expectations, and so it's not as easy to implement. And you know, one of the things that I've studied a lot on is what you know. There's this Canadian study back in the 80s, and they were talking about what they call the Cinderella effect.
Sure.
And the Cinderella effect is this phenomenon in which, it's not a phenomenon, naturally, I don't know if naturally is the right word, but in many cases, stepkids are more likely to be abused and to not get the same treatment as a biological child. And so then you get into, you know, Darwinism and evolution and passing on your genes and yada, yada, yada. But more importantly for me is there's the perception of the Cinderella effect. Right?
Okay.
So at least you're aware of it.
No. Not just that, but the step kid thinking that you are applying the Cinderella effect because they're not blood. And that's really hard to overcome as a step parent because, again, you're the stepdad, right?
Yeah.
You're not the dad.
Yeah, because you hear that in media all the time. Well, you're not my real dad. Like you hear that kind of shit in media all the time. So I can imagine that kind of carries over and is still a real conversation that at least to some extent you've had to have.
No, it is. And so like for my kids, and I genuinely mean this, I adore my kids, all three of them. But, being a step parent, it's a different kind of love, right?
Sure.
As a step parent, you're the supportive love. You're the and you are with your biological kid, but it's different. You're the kind of the backbone, the end all when it comes to your biological kid, and you're kind of sharing
the load,
the load with another person. So it's interesting. It's complex. It's frankly it's not for everybody.
No, well, that's it is interesting to hear you say it's not for everyone, because I think you're probably right. I mean, there's patience that I'm sure you did not know you had. When you're dealing with somebody else's kids, technically speaking, but then all of a sudden they are my kids, and I'm here to take care of these kids, whether they're from my loins or not.
Right?
They are my responsibility, and I love them nonetheless.
It might sound corny, and that's something that I've tried to pass on. Is I love Kennedy, my daughter, but I didn't get to pick her. She was made, and she.
That's a really good point, though, Derek.
No, I mean, like that when you're dating someone who has kids, it's a package deal.
Yeah.
You take
and you know it going into it.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So, I mean, that's one of the things is like I picked you to be my stepdaughter, or stepson, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It's different,
and vice versa.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because I would assume that if there was some weird vibe there coming from the kids, they're probably going to talk to mom without you being involved.
Oh God, yeah, we've had to overcome that a lot. Joking about that earlier, we God, I love Rory to death. We bicker so much back and forth. Some of it's lighthearted, some of it's serious, and you'll hear in the other room she's like, "I am not your referee. Like, get along,
get along."
Rory's doing this, and she's like, "Derek's doing that." Guys, come on.
Give it a fucking break.
How old are you two again? How old?
Children.
Yeah.
Children.
Well, that's funny because obviously, me or Bryant have no experience in
it's just not something
world.
we wanted to talk about it because we just don't have that experience. And as much as you don't want to give yourself credit, you're pretty profound at talking about that kind of stuff. So,
strong.
you are. Yeah, you are. I mean,
Thanks, buddy.
you are our guy
mantle.
for that. Like,
exactly.
It's having to come in with a 7 and a 4-year-old is shit. That probably was not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah,
and
but then
here you are all these years later.
I was gonna say, in a way, it's kind of a blessing, right? Yeah. Because you skip the baby phase, the lack of sleep, all the diapers you have to change.
And then my favorite came in and messed all that up with
stuff. Yeah. However, you ended up having a third, and so you got to experience that too, which is a good thing too, right? Because I think you grow a lot as a parent by being able to experience that.
Without a doubt.
And I think that is one cool thing as a parent is how much not only your kids grow, but you grow. And one thing that just kills me is once I became a parent, you gain a new appreciation for your parents, right?
Oh,
you're like, oh,
absolutely.
Like when you're young, you're like, why are you doing this? This is so dumb. Like, I don't get it. But then once you become the parent, you're like, Mom, Dad, I understand why you're doing that, right?
Yep.
I totally get that. That makes sense now. I'm sorry I was a little jerk back in the day.
I'm not going to apologize about it, but I just will recognize that I was wrong all those years ago.
What age did that come to fruition for you guys? Like, because I know very specifically what I was doing when I was like, okay, so I'll just
please, because I'm not there yet.
Well, 19 years old, I'm standing at Walmart looking at towels. And I'm like, there's more than one option for towels, and these are inexpensive. Like, I never had to buy a towel before.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
And that was the moment where I was like, my parents know more than I do.
Yeah.
Have you had?
That's funny.
Did
Interesting.
You have that moment?
I had that a little bit with Else. I've made this joke before, but when he found out I was having a girl, he looked at me and goes, "Well, there's some justice in the world. Bryant Young's having a girl." And so I was immediately just slammed into my face that, like, you were a shithead kid at one point, and now you're going to be somebody's parent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you're going to be trying to help shape and protect and introduce this child to the world.
Yeah.
And all the dumbass shit that you did
Yep.
while you were
Yep.
under my house, says my parents.
Yeah.
There's justice in the universe.
Here it
Yep.
comes, big boy.
Yeah.
It's coming right back in your
Be
face.
prepared.
It's coming to slap you right in the face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, a little bit when Elsie was first born, but I haven't quite experienced it like with on the parenting side of things yet, because Elsie just isn't quite old enough. But the first time she says some smart ass thing back to me,
Oh, yeah.
or the first time it's very clear that she's smarter than me, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen
It
soon,
will.
I'm sure.
Give it age 3.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a
Yeah.
couple years, and it will be very clear that she's smarter than I am, and I'll just go, oh, so that's what my parents
Yeah.
felt like. I got it. No, I understand.
No, that definitely kicked in for me too once I became a parent, and it was more like, well, like my mom, she was very, I guess, a very cautious person. Like, oh, don't do that, or else you'll get hurt. And as a kid, you're like, Mom, you're fine. But then, like, you see your kids do that,
Yep.
right? And you're like, oh yeah, don't do that. And then it's funny because that morphs into you slowly turning into your parents,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're using sayings that they were saying,
God,
and
yeah.
you're doing stuff they were doing, and it's so funny because when you're a kid, you're like making fun of them for being a parent, basically, right?
You're so overbearing. You don't need to
Right.
worry about that, except
Yeah.
you really freaking do.
And then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
become a parent, and you start doing all the same crap.
Yep.
So as like a step parent and a father, have you kind of morphed into that as
Oh,
well?
man. Have you guys ever had a musgo sandwich?
I don't know musgo sandwich.
Okay. Or musgo burritos. They make them in burrito form too.
I don't even know Muscos.
Yeah.
Is that the name of
Yeah.
a place?
Yeah.
Where is this?
So here we go. My dad, he would I would walk into the kitchen and he'd go, what are you eating, Dad? Well, I'm eating a musgo sandwich. It's like, well, that sounds disgusting. I don't know what that is. See you later.
That sounds disgusting, but it really does.
It wasn't until I was like 22 before I caught on to what he was saying. Must go was anything there it is. Anything in the fridge that had to go.
I was missing the
Yeah.
T. I was
yeah,
missing the
like
T.
that.
Yeah. Musco. No, I got it. I was missing the
Musco
T,
sandwich.
but now I understand.
Dad
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
number one.
Exactly. No shit.
No, I don't even know if that's a dad joke. That's a
I'm
reality.
glad-
I'm turning into my father.
Dad
because
saying-
the other day for dinner, we were like, God, what are we going to eat? And it's like, okay, open up the fridge. We've got 2 chicken wings in there. We've got some weird frozen mac and cheese. We've got 6 pizza rolls.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
we've got some salad that has to go. And it's like, guys, we're having musco dinner. And my kids were like, what is that? That sounds disgusting. It's like, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're gonna like it because it's
That's so
all
funny.
the shit that you've been eating this week,
And it's like,
but
I'm turning-
over again.
I'm turning into my father.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so funny because literally we did that exact same thing this morning, and I didn't even realize like that's what we were doing.
That is
Welcome to
hilarious.
Father.
That is hilariously
Yeah, 'cause, like,
universal.
we
yeah.
we hadn't ordered groceries in a while, and it's like, oh well, we got to get rid of all this stuff in the fridge. And that's
Muscos.
what was for
So
for
that's-
breakfast.
so-
must go breakfast.
So funny. I'm gonna start calling it that. By the way, thank you. We like to coin things on this podcast. Parental mental health is one of them, and now we're gonna coin the must go meal. Musco. Sorry, Musco.
Musco.
The Musco meal because
Trademark Dennis K. Richardson.
yeah, exactly. Thanks, Dennis. We do the same thing here, but it's my. So I don't really like leftovers, and my wife is obsessed with leftovers. And so our fridge is full of leftovers. Generally, stereotypically, the dad eats all the leftovers, right? And he eats them at inappropriate times.
Yep.
Except I don't really care for leftovers that much, and so they just live in our fridge.
You must have had a spoiled childhood. That's all I'm saying.
I have gotten better about it. Thank you very much. But it's just one of those things. Well, I just ate everything put in front of me. There was never left over. Hence, what we're looking at here
Okay,
today.
we'll go with that.
Yeah, I was. Were you guys raised in a finish your plate household?
Yeah,
what?
100%.
Finish your plate.
Oh God. Yes.
Yeah.
So then what
but
the hell
my
are
ma-
leftovers?
Yeah, my
Oh,
mom.
that's okay. I see your point.
No.
So like what the fuck?
And
what are
I just want to
leftovers?
say for the listeners, this is what happens when you finish your plate. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Leftovers.
This
are
is a
good.
body. This is a body by plate finishing.
It's a body.
No,
If you don't get up.
growing up, I mean, it was a household of 4, but for some reason, every meal, my mom would always make enough food for a whole Thanksgiving
8
dinner.
people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so there was, whatever we had for dinner on Monday is what you're having for dinner on Thursday too.
Yep.
Well, and at this point, Elsie is she's 18 months old, and so like it's all about trying to find something that she will eat, not so much. I mean, because she's not picky yet, but like she's mostly just she snacks all day, and so we're really bad about alleviating the snacks between meals. And so when it's time to sit down for mealtime, she'll take a look at the green beans and chicken that we set in front of her, and she goes, "Fuck no, absolutely not.
Goldfish cracker.
I'll have this rice and I'll have this goldfish, and that's what I care about, because the rest of that shit, nah, I'm not into it." But yeah, that's really funny, because I have come around on that, though, because I'll look at the fridge and it goes, well, Elsie didn't finish those peas, and Elsie didn't finish those orange slices, and Elsie didn't, and so it's just peeling out all the stuff out of the fridge that Elsie didn't finish.
Weird beef stew.
Exactly. Just go set it all, and like, can I cook any of this? Well, I can nuke this, and I can put that in the oven, and I can do these frozen Hot Pockets or whatever they are, not Hot Pockets, but pizza rolls or whatever they are, something. Let's just get something in this kid. We got to get her to eat, because I have to feed a child and keep it alive.
So it is funny how you change as a parent, because like I remember with Liam when we just had one kid and he was little, we'd put a bunch of food on his plate, whatever he didn't eat. Oh, well, we can't give that to him again later. Like, we must throw that away. Now that we have 2, it's like, whatever you don't eat, we're putting in a bowl. It's going in the fridge. You're having that for lunch.
Exactly. That's coming right back at you in 4 hours.
So it is funny how that changes, but yeah, it kills me.
It is good, because I like. So I've got a daughter, and so it's that weird deal where she's so precious. I want to protect. I want to. It's one of those deals where there's not a lot of, other than moms and wives, there's not a lot of women in my family. I've got a brother, I've got one aunt, but then it's all uncles, and it's dad, and it's my brother, and it's all dudes. And so, at least to some extent, and this is something I'm going to have to get over in my life, that like, I've got a daughter, and she's not the most precious, breakable thing in the world. She is a human being that doesn't need to be protected and, put in the little glass box and keep her away from all the things. One of the things, and we talked about this a little bit ahead of time, so we've queued this story up, but I just want to ping pong it off of you. Daddy-daughter dances. God. So I have had several friends that they've done those dances, and they talk about that it's oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Oh, it's going to be a blast. Yeah. And then I've heard mixed reviews. Yeah. So I wondered if you could talk more about that, mostly because I'm super curious.
This is the insider scoop, because Bryant, it's going to happen, my friend.
Oh yeah, it's coming. Happen. Absolutely. Something you won't have to deal with, so you can just sit over there and look pretty.
Well, and I do want to.
That's a good point. You might have another one.
I do want to add a little flavor to this. Rory is the most inclusive person you will ever meet in your life. I mean, she thinks about everybody. So the time of the daddy-daughter dance, she would go, all right, this year it's Dad's year. Next year it's Derek's year.
That's so cool.
Super sweet.
Yeah, she thinks of that as a kid. Yes. Right?
Yeah. We'll get back to that. So just lock that very beautiful thought in your head.
Oh, boy.
Completely ruin it. So I'll tell you.
It just goes downhill from here.
Yeah, exactly. No. So the daddy-daughter dance is a very, very beautiful thing, because, in my humble opinion, it gives dads the opportunity to provide their daughters with how things should be.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
These
through my eyes, here's how it should go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't meet a guy as good looking and charming as me, or Derek Chaney, you don't need to do it.
We're gonna keep him on that side of the table. We understand. It's like Clark Kent and the rest of us.
This is your minimum. That's your maximum.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, somewhere in between.
You got a range. guys, I'm blushing.
Yeah. Well, you should. Good-looking bastard.
So no, it was you dress to the nines. You get a little corsage. You take them out for.
Is that from school, or where does that where's the what's that through?
Springfield Public Schools. It's what my guy. What's it called? No, that's not important.
But yeah, it's fine. I was just curious, like if that was through a certain deal, or like where that came from.
Every year, yeah. So you have this nice little experience, and then you go to take your picture. Everything's
cool.
Good.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you hit the dance floor, and that's when everything goes downhill. So I'll tell you guys ever been to a concert?
Yes, of course.
Where a mosh pit breaks out?
Yep. Oh shit.
Okay, so you've got the circle of people who want no part in it.
Yeah,
right?
and they're way in the back and around the outside.
So the circle around the mosh pit is the dads. And then in the middle are the girls
the
and
daughters.
the chaos that ensues. And then every once in a while, the middle gets too close to the outside line, and one person gets pulled in, right?
Oh, no.
And then all the dads get drug in.
No. You get that one guy that gets pulled in, and they're like, okay, this might be okay. And then they come out, and they're all bug-eyed, and they're like, dude, my life has forever changed. I'll never do that
I
again.
experienced so many things that I shouldn't experience as a father.
So that is the summary of the daddy-daughter dance,
Oh,
right?
my
Wow.
So anyway, again,
How old is Rory?
now she's 15.
Right.
Yeah.
But first daddy-daughter
Oh,
dance.
God, I don't know. 8, 9, 10 probably.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So again, she alternated between me and her dad.
Oh,
And so it's like,
there were some gaps.
so so you got a year off, and then 1 year it was her dad's turn, and her dad, something happened where he couldn't go, and she's like, well, Derek, it looks like you get to go.
You're up, big
You're
boy.
up, yeah.
You mother, like seriously.
Yeah, you had something come up.
Yeah, I had something come up too.
Yeah, me too. So, oh God, and so I'm of course thinking back to like media and stuff where it's like booze in the punch bowl and like that kind of stuff. It's like,
God,
the dads standing in the back like, God, I wish there was a beer here or something like that. But of course,
they try to pretend like they're having a good time, but nobody's having. There's that one weird guy that nobody trusts that's having a really great time.
just having a
And
blast.
living for this moment his whole life.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see the opposite side of that too, the mommy son dance, right?
Because those things exist.
Yeah, well, I'm a dad of boys, and Allie talks about that a lot. She's like looking forward to that, and maybe it's just like at their wedding day. I don't know if that's a thing like during school. I don't remember it personally.
I don't. There was that didn't exist at SPS when I was there, so that's why I'll be curious to see.
But you didn't have any sisters.
Touche.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
So
That's
you
a very
wouldn't
good
have noticed
point.
it even if it did happen.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't.
But yeah,
Blindside. There's Bryant's Blindside. Absolutely.
Allie, she's been, and we've been talking about that a lot because she's a wedding planner, so she obviously sees all these weddings, and she's like, oh, the sons are just so happy to dance with their moms and whatnot. So she's like, I can't wait till our boys get that age. Yeah. But it's funny. I would love to see the high school or middle school version of that where they're like, oh,
well, I'd like to see it on the other side. Like moms, I don't think they'd stand in a row awkwardly like
no, I think they'd be right.
No,
they'd be right in it.
I was gonna say, I don't know how well you guys know my wife, but I mean, she dances by herself in our living room, let alone like a whole dance party. Like that'd be her dream.
So like, she's gonna go get.
Honestly, that's probably it's probably going to be more of a scarring experience for my sons than it would for my wife.
So funny. That's so funny.
Like I would assume the young men would invite their moms once and then would never.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a one and done.
Because they're scarred by that experience. That's hysterical. Because middle school, Bryant, I got scarred by my mother at a regular middle school dance. 6th grade.
She chaperoning?
No, it was even better. 6th grade at Pershing Middle School. I'm going to my first boy-girl dance. I had no date, but I'm in 6th grade. You just go. I had a girlfriend at the time, Amanda Stewart. Hey, Amanda. And
please
we're
subscribe.
Hilariously, we're still friends to this day. It cracks me up. But she was my first girlfriend, first real girlfriend. But we go to this dance.
Did you make room for Jesus?
Public schools didn't matter.
Mom was there.
Public schools didn't matter. But my mother, being my mother. You're going to a dance, you're going to dress up, right? Like you're going to homecoming.
Yeah.
You're going to homecoming, you're going to wear a suit, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to prom, you're going to wear a tux, whatever. Well, this is a middle school dance, so maybe you don't have to be as dressed up, but you're still going to dress up, Bryant. You're still going to wear those clothes. So mom sends me in a crisp white, like dry cleaned white, buttoned down all the way down, tucked into my blue jeans with my little brown shoes.
Looking fly.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It wasn't quite that bad. That's hilarious. No, it wasn't quite that bad. But it was a straight up like regular button down polo, regular button down long sleeve shirt, Oxford shirt, and the most dressed up person there had on jeans and a t-shirt other than me. I was
so you stood out.
mortified. All of the teachers were so complimentary of my outfit. Wow. Oh my gosh, you look so nice. And all of the older kids that were there were like, you look like a fucking idiot.
All right. Let's be honest for a minute. Me and Derek both know you well enough that you love the attention. And so you being the one that stands out.
6th grade Bryant was not. Sixth grade Bryant was not 25 to 34-year-old Bryant.
Yeah, you're all looking
at me. A
little
different can of worms there.
Okay.
Sixth grade Bryant was absolutely fucking mortified. I got home at the end of the night, and it's the first and only time. It's not the only time, but I just yelled at my mom. I was so pissed. You made me look so stupid. I look like such a goofball. So again, yeah. So the mommy son dance might be way more mortifying than anything else. Like traumatizing for all those little boys.
This coffee's really good.
This is really good coffee.
Hoppy.
So let's just this is really good coffee. Let's get right into the dad jokes. We of course have to end on our dad jokes of the week.
Yeah.
And man, Elsie, she's getting all kinds of different toys, and she has some of that invisible ink. You remember where you can get that at Silver Dollar City, like the invisible ink thing or whatever? Yeah. She had a bottle of invisible ink, and I might have had a couple of our coffees here, and I drank her invisible ink.
You drank it?
Yeah, man. And then I had to go to the hospital, and man, for hours I was waiting to be seen.
I didn't want to laugh. I was trying so hard. That wasn't worth the laugh.
That's your first joke that I've actually laughed at. That was solid.
I don't know where I saw that, but that is my favorite one. Sorry. You follow that, bitches.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got, DC?
Oh, man, I don't even know if I should say anything right now, but I don't think
that was pretty good.
I'm waiting for this one.
I don't think I can top that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we was talking about this before the episode recorded or maybe after. We've had too many coffees at this point. And anyways, I think we could all agree that we're getting our dad bods on us, right?
Preach.
And so I'm like, man, I got to do something about this. So I started running again, right? So I'm like trying to run around the neighborhood, get my mile in.
Good for you.
Every day, to avoid that. Yeah. So anyways, I'm running around the neighborhood the other day, and somebody like throws this freaking clarinet at me. A clarinet. And I'm like, what an odd thing to throw at somebody.
Yeah.
Especially while they're running. Like, not nice. And so anyways, I keep going. I'm like, whatever. I have my headphones in, so I'm just going. And I get a little bit farther down our street, and somebody's through a freaking violin. I mean, I'm like,
what kind of neighborhood are you
right?
in?
I'm like, what is going on?
What is going on in this neighborhood?
Next thing, it's like a full piano. And I'm no genius, but I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, this is definitely an orchestrated attack right now.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So stupid. I love it so much.
I don't even have to fake not
I fucking love dad jokes. They're so stupid, but they're my favorite thing. Well, so one decent one shitty one. What do you got?
That's a lot of pressure.
No, you can meet in the middle.
Yeah, meet in the middle.
In previous podcasts, you guys were talking about the difference between a dad joke and a dirty joke, right?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Well, and so I think mine might be in the middle, so we'll call it an uncle joke.
There you go. Okay, now you're talking.
Yeah,
I'm good with
I like that.
This one I've been carrying this joke with me since I was 19, and I have been practicing it.
Wow.
Okay.
I love it.
The build up to
Honeybees
this.
make honey.
Honeybees make honey.
Uh-huh.
What kind of bee makes milk?
Man, is it? Wait. No, never mind. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to make this work too, and it was not working.
A booby.
Oh, shit. God dang it.
I love it.
I did. In the back of my head, I was like, surely he's not going to say booby. No, he did. No, he absolutely
booby
did.
Never crossed my mind, but that was good.
He did. In the back of it, I'm like, God dang it. Is he?
The dad joke?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 100%. I mean, my first.
I've got more.
My first dad
Brian's
joke
first
on the
3
episode
jokes.
had to do with
chickens
and peckers. So it was not great. But that's where we should probably draw things to a close.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
We do, however, want to say thank you. We have been keeping an eye on all of the folks that are viewing. We've noticed that about half of our viewers, half of our listeners are not subscribed on different social media channels and stuff. So if you're on YouTube, make sure to do all the subscribe. Make sure to subscribe so you can see all of our future stuff. Appreciate everybody who has been watching and listening. We're at 96 subscribers on YouTube at this point, so we're getting dangerously close to 100, and close to like 12,000 views, and that's kind of wild when you think about it. But and we've got a handful of, not even a handful, quite a few people on Spotify as well. So all of the different channels, we really appreciate everybody checking it out. But give us a rate, give us a review, subscribe, comment, do all those things. And if you have any interest in participating and you're one of our local buds, please let us know. We are constantly looking to farm and work on our we'll take anybody at this point. We're constantly looking to farm our friends for their funny dad stories. So without further ado, way to go, Decent Dad. Nice work.
Way
to go, Derek.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Here we go.
And here we go. Get your fingers off your face.
I know, sorry. My nose was running.
If I could just come and watch, because all the people you have, I'm like, man, I haven't seen that guy in forever.
So that was
Connor, Travis,
CO.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that, like the old sitcom episodes, like have the live.
Yeah, just the laugh track.
That's
me. Going, Jesus Christ. The awkward laugh is one guy.
Oh, that's so good.